Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Orange County Funding Corp Board meeting for January 15th of 2025, and the time is 5:11 p.m. I'd like to call the meeting to order of the Board of Directors, and let's do the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Jeffrey Christ.
Here.
Dean Tambury.
Here.
Dr. Vincent Odock.
Here.
Susan Walski.
Here.
Linda Muller.
Here.
Giovanni Palladino.
Here.
6 of 7 members. We have 1 excused absence. Also, I'll mention myself, Bill Fioravanti, Kelly Riley, Marty Barras here as staff. We also have our General Counsel, Nino Sciaretta, our New York State Monitor, Brian Sandvidge, and our AV consultant, Billy Iverson. Is that everyone? That's it.
Very good. Welcome, everybody. I'd like to mention the proof of notice was properly provided. A copy of that is in the board packet. And moving on to the minutes from the December 18th, 2024 board meeting of the Funding Corp. Any additions, corrections? Motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Linda, second by Doc Odock. Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Moving on to the reorganization meeting, which is customary in our first board meeting of the year. I'm gonna ask Bill to go through those resolutions that have been prepared.
Yes, we are able to pass these unless anyone objects, pass these all together, but I'll go through and make sure. They're pretty self-explanatory, but we have resolution to reappoint our chairman, and then another one for all the other officers besides the chairman, reappointing myself, reappointing RBT CPAs, Shannon Manisi as our external CFO, Kelly Riley as our records officer. That's for responding to freedom of information requests and such. Then we need an appeals officer, which will be me in case someone appeals what Kelly has provided in response to those requests. And then we have our depositories and set limits. So these are the banks that are able to collateralize any of our cash or CDs. And we did set limits with each of $12 million, which is roughly what we have in cash. And then lastly, there's a designation of our official newspaper. That's the Times Herald Record, even though it's almost like a college pamphlet at this point. It is the one that we use to post all of our notices.
Any questions on those resolutions? With that in mind, Lino?
Yes, sir. So you can take one ominous motion to approve all those resolutions by one motion, as long as it's all on consent.
So I'm gonna propose a motion that we accept the proposed reorganization as laid out.
Through the resolutions.
Yep.
I'll second.
Second by Linda. Any other discussion on those? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Thank you for your confidence in me. And I'll move on to my appointments for the audit committee. And I've spoken with board members individually. And I believe, maybe, does everybody have a copy of the committee?
No. they don't.
Okay, I'll read these off quick. Audit Committee, Susan Walski, Chair, Dean Tambury, and Mark Green. On the Finance Committee, Mark Green, Chair, myself, Dean Tambury, Linda Muller. And lastly, for Governance, Linda Muller, Chair, myself, Dean Tambury, Dr. Vince Odock, serving on that committee. Any questions or comments on those?
I didn't hear my name for governance.
Where did we go wrong there?
Missing my
We
name?
must have,
He is missing.
yeah, he should be on there.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not complaining.
My
Oh,
apologies.
no. Don't try to get out of it.
Anywhere.
I should get my mouth shut.
Okay, sorry about that, I was reading what I was told.
Yeah, no problem.
Others?
You're not getting off that easy.
I figured if they printed it out, I wouldn't make a mistake. That didn't work so well.
Maybe you were just testing, see if I was hearing.
Good job paying attention.
And that moves us on to the new business. Actually, the committee reports, Finance Committee for Orange County Funding Corp. We just had that meeting, and Mark Green, our chair, was absent, so I led that committee, and I'm trying to we reviewed the December financials for 2024, the December, January payables. We made a recommendation for the certificate of deposit, and the other couple things I'll do in a moment. These financials were in everybody's packet. I don't know if you have any highlights you want to mention on those, Bill, or anybody else for that matter.
I don't think so.
They were pretty straightforward. And for reasons due to not having as many projects as we'd like, the year ended up in a negative 77,000. And we're hoping to turn that around with some more activity this coming year. We approved, or recommended approval to the full board from the committee for both the financials and the payables. And I think the board would need to take a motion to actually approve both of those if we agree, by motion.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Linda for the December financials and December, January payables.
I'll second.
Second by Giovanni, thank you. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And then on the certificate of deposit, we recommended as a committee to take the maturing CD of $600,000 that actually matured a couple days ago, and motion by Giovanni for the Lakeland Bank, 3.85 for the Lakeland Bank, 3.85%, 9 months.
I'll second.
Second by Dean. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. And let's see here. I'm not used to doing all these things.
Yeah.
Authorizing staff to pay recurring bills and insurance invoices. Again, the board recommended approval. Do you want to brief the board on that?
Yeah, this is something we do every January also, where we look for your authorization to pay all recurring bills, rent, utilities, et cetera, all the ones that are typically very similar amounts and happen every month. We also added the request to authorize us to pay insurance premiums that they come due, because they have just for some reason a very short turnaround time. We'll get a bill and sometimes it's due 2 days later. We want to avoid any insurance lapse. I want to be clear though, as I was to the finance committee, the finance committee reviews all of these, even in the cases of these after the fact, but so they're still scrutinized, but we have the okay to pay them so we can avoid late payment fees and such.
Any questions on
Mr.
that?
Chair, I'll make a motion to approve
And this would be for the,
recurring bills and insurance invoices.
excellent. Second to that motion?
I'll second that motion.
Thank you, Susan. Any other questions, comments? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. That motion is carried as well. And did you want to mention the
Please. I just wanted,
guidelines?
thank you. I want to at least introduce this subject. We're going to table this till February when our finance committee chairman is back. But this, I've reported on this in my last 2 CEO reports, transitioning to ramp.com, which is an online service that allows us to pay bills electronically through ACH. It will also help us shorten the response time of paying bills, avoiding late fees. It also avoids check fraud, opportunity for check fraud, and it will save us some money with RBT, our CPA that's cutting those checks now. So what I was in finance committee, I wanted to give everyone a look at that application, see how the bills come up for queue for you to review and approve. We do have the opportunity for it would likely be finance committee members who could review and approve bills in between meetings. They have that opportunity. But we want to have a full discussion with the full committee, because we may just still want to have the committee approve things, even if they're looking at the screen, looking at RAMP, approve them in our finance committee meetings. But we're going to take next month to have another discussion at the finance committee level, and then we'll come back with some proposed guidelines that we'll want you to bless.
I have some questions on that. So are these gonna be paid via like an ACH?
Yes.
Or I was gonna say credit card, because normally there's fees involved with credit cards and that
Yeah.
can rack up to a huge expense.
No, it's all ACH at no charge through ramp.com. They can pay something by check if we so request it, but there's no reason we're gonna be looking to do that very often.
I'm just, like I said, I just wanna make sure we don't get hit with the silent fees.
Definitely, definitely. And this is a free service. They do require that we use a credit card of theirs, which is like an American Express card that you pay up every month. They are competing with American Express. They were clear with us on that. But as opposed to bill.com, which the finance committee also demoed, this is no charge, where that would have been several $100s per month in fees. So we're giving it a shot. We tried a few bills already. We're doing more and more, and it's working really well. It was time to bring it to the finance committee to lay out some rules and guidelines of how we'll approve it.
Yeah, the other thing I was gonna add is what you were saying too, is that Marty and Kelly were saying that the invoices go right into the system. You can actually see the entire invoice. It, gets booked to QuickBooks immediately, so seems like it's working well for them.
Yes, thank you.
Looks promising. Any other questions there? And I believe with that, it wraps up our items for the funding court meeting, in which case, if anybody doesn't have something else, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn, please.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Dean.
Second.
Susan, second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Thank you. Our meeting is adjourned at 5:22.